What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Professionally Profane podcast. I am Dave Ritteroff. I'm joined, as always, by my guy, Mr. PCVIV, Phil Charles Vander Hayden. Mr. Phil, Mr. Four. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm great, man. I'm great. We're getting that PCV down, dude. We're getting it down.
Yeah.
I'm living the dream. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate all of our fans that check out our episodes. I appreciate you guys for hanging in there with us. I know that we took a little lull there, but I hope that you satisfied that little lull by checking out our video vlog of the NFL draft, which is fucking hilarious. Fuck Green Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck Green Bay. Yeah, definitely. You know, we dropped the video, and man, we're gonna hear in a second. We go through all of our housekeeping every week, but we are two very busy men, so there's a lot of content out there. But of course, our baby is still professionally profane. I mean, I'm not wearing a hat for anything else. I'm wearing this hat right here because it's adorable. I mean, look at it. I mean, it's great. We look so good in these hats, Phil.
We do. We look fantastic.
Hey, you know what? Honesty's honesty, man. Before we get started with today's video, today's episode, don't forget to give us a follow. We are on Twitter/X at ProfanePod. I'm found at Davey.17. You can also now check me out at Just Another Year Chicago Cubs, J Shy Cubs on Twitter/X, and J Chicago Cubs on Instagram, where we're gonna get going. We have like 10 followers there. You can be one of the first like 20 followers on that account if you get there soon enough. So go, hurry up. Yeah.
Do it.
Phil, where can the people find you at, my friend?
You can find me at JC Phil, and that J is spelled out JAYC Phil. Or you can find me at JShy_Bulls. Or you can find me at Profane Pod with Davey, hanging out, shooting the shit, being an adult, being uncensored. And then you can catch us being very censored on at J_P Wrestling for our Just Another Year Pro Wrestling channel. I don't know, actually, Davey, I might have just broke that news to you that it is now P Wrestling instead of W Wrestling on the tag, on the handle. So I got that A-OK from Nick today. So I was just letting you know.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I wrestle with P all the time. So I'm all good to go there.
Dude, you got to when you got that freaking log in your jeans.
Well, hey, you know what? If I wasn't trying to let everybody know, but now the cat's out of the bag, ladies. Fine, you got me. Gee.
My bad. Yeah, it's a tough life that Dave lives.
Hey, well, it is a tough life for all Bulls fans today, or at least most of them. Dude, how about that segue, man? Look at us, right, man? We took a week off. We're right back in the swing of things, man. Bulls fans had the news recently that, I'm 50-50 on this news. I know not everybody is, but the entirety of the very top of the Bulls organization, from the front office to the coaching staff, is being brought back and extended. Billy Donovan signs an extension. Artūras Karnišovas signs an extension. Marc Eversley signs an extension. Phil, I'm just going to give you the floor, man. What are your thoughts here?
So I actually find myself a lot like you. I think that might be maybe a little boring for our listeners who are maybe hoping for one of us to be really pissed off about this. I got to be honest, I'm not completely pissed off about it. Now, I feel better about the Billy Donovan extension than I do about the AK extension. But, like, I wasn't expecting them to get fired. I know Jerry Reinsdorf. So this doesn't really come as a surprise to me. With that being said, if it wasn't for that 15-6 ending to the season, I might be way more down bad. But I feel like maybe we might be turning the page. Like, I feel like we finally did the youth movement thing halfway through the season last year, and the results did start off good. So I'm not so down. I don't think that, we're going to be awful. I don't think so. So I don't know. It's tough. I have hope. I'm hoping for the best, but also preparing for the worst. And very 50-50 as you said.
Yeah, and my 50-50 is a little different. And of course, I want to mention really quick that, we have our episodes every week. But if you want to hear Phil's opinion about the Bulls all the time, you go to Just Another Year Chicago Bulls on YouTube specifically, where he's getting a ton of new viewers over there. Those are parties on the comment section, so you get to talk to all your Bulls fan friends there and give him a follow on Twitter as well. He's always posting a lot. But, I get to share a little bit less here. But, I've made no bones about it, and people don't like this about me, but I'm a huge Billy Donovan fan. I think that
including our boss.
Hey, it's true. Yeah, people don't like Billy Donovan. Listen, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think he's a really good NBA coach. I think that his teams are fundamentally sound. I think that guys earn minutes. I think he's being put in a really, really difficult situation, and I think he's doing better than a lot of coaches would do in the situation they're currently in. I think that he's making play-ins with rosters that are not play-in capable teams. Getting there to me is a huge, huge accomplishment. And I think it's really good he's coming back. Now, Artūras Karnišovas and Marc Eversley, I just shipped their asses out of town yesterday. I mean, I would have let them go right away. But when you hear the head coach is getting the extension and the front office is on an expiring deal, you know that something else has got to happen. As soon as the Billy Donovan news came up, you should have immediately in your head gone, well, I think I know what that means. I think I know that means that we're getting an extension for these guys as well. But I wouldn't have done it. I don't think the front office has proved much of anything. I think that they put a ton of stock into a team that wasn't really going to mesh very well. I think they really put the whole rebuild back quite a ways by going for it with a roster that had too many question marks. Could Zach LaVine play winning basketball? Could Nikola Vucevic play winning basketball? And could these guys defend well enough? And once we saw Lonzo Ball go down, we knew they couldn't. But it is what it is now. If it means keeping Billy around, I'd rather, let Billy have a subpar roster than bring in a bad coach and have a play-in roster that I think would then be a lottery team with a worse coach.
I hear you, man. I will say, like, the thing that's got me feeling like AK might be able to salvage himself is that, in my opinion, he made two moves last year that resulted in having two pillars that we're going to build on going forward, and that's Josh Giddey and Matas Buzelis. So prior to that, AK had never acquired a player that you could point to that guy and be like, that dude is a pillar for our franchise for the next 5 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. Maybe Lonzo when he signed him, but even then, like, it wasn't really quite there. I feel like he did that with Giddey and Matas. A lot of people are saying it's luck. They're not completely wrong for thinking that. He needs to run it back. He needs to have another offseason like that. We got to see the 15-6 end to the last season needs to bear itself out over a full season. But until so I will say, like, I'm higher on Billy than AK, but I'm holding. If the Bulls start off, let's say 20-10, I'm far more inclined to be like, you know what, I'm back in on both you guys, and that's Billy and AK.
Yeah.
Because I think if we start off 20-10, that tells me that AK was right for believing in Billy, and sticking with him. It tells me that Josh Giddey and Matas really built something, or really laying the groundwork of something that's better, and we're on to bigger and better things. But it needs to have that hot start.
I could totally agree with that. And Phil, I'm going to put you on the spot with this one, but we've heard a lot of talks already about Kobe White. Is he going to be on the team next year? Are they going to go and re-sign Josh Giddey? I mean, what's next for the roster? What is this roster build going to be next year? There's so many different options. Now that we know the front office is staying long-term, does that change your opinion on any of the potential moves the Bulls could make? Does that change your opinion of anybody on the roster's future bearings with the team? What do you think this specific move has any adjustment to the offseason plan for the Bulls?
No, because I don't think that they were ever going to change. Like, I think that they've known they were going to keep the status quo since the end of the season. Like, I think this decision was made far in advance. So I don't think it's going to change anything. If anything, if it might, I don't know, because you want to say, like, now they have maybe security, so maybe they don't make a rash move. Maybe a guy like Kobe White is more safe. Now that they don't have to coach for 1 year, like, with everything riding on their last year of their contract. So maybe these guys are more safe than anything. I don't think that it makes anybody anybody's seat any hotter per se. So, I don't know. What about you? What do you think?
You know what? I think that I think they're going to feel more inclined to make an aggressive move. I should say not
Okay.
aggressive in a positive. I think they'd be more willing to trade a guy like Kobe White now because, as mentioned, they don't have to coach or manage for their jobs. I think that they'd be
True.
more
It can
willing
go
to.
both ways.
Yeah, I think they'd be more willing to trade away a starting caliber player. If you're on the last year of your deal, I mean, we saw it with Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace with the Bears, is when they had 1 year left on their deal. Yeah, they traded up and got Justin Fields, but they also said, yeah, Justin Fields isn't starting day one. Like, we need Andy Dalton to start because they had to try and get their jobs. And they thought that maybe drafting Justin Fields would buy them a year or two. Like, well, you brought in a quarterback, we let you use all this capital to move up in the draft. If you have a plan for the kid, then we'll give you the plan. Things change when you have that job security. You're not fighting for your life like you were saying. So a guy like Kobe can go now. A guy like Vooch is probably going to go now.
Vooch is
And
on. He's out.
he has
He's
to.
out.
I mean, and first of all, Nikola Vucevic is the softest big man in all of basketball. I mean, get this guy out of town yesterday, man. My goodness. I mean, this dude, I've never seen a guy volume rebounded the way Nikola Vucevic does. He does two things well. He shoots threes well for a big man, which means something. I mean, something different than shooting threes well. And he rebounds, but he doesn't rebound well. He just gets a lot of rebounds because he can't get out to the perimeter because he's slow and he can't box anybody out. He's a bum. Bye-bye. Get a second round pick for him. Anything. Just get him out.
I actually think they're going to be able to get a little more for him, man, because I think that it's really funny. But he's right now, Nikola Vucevic is the linchpin that's holding all of the NBA trade scenarios together. In just the last 24 hours, I've heard him linked to the Warriors, to the Rockets, to the Suns, and to the oh god, what's the last team? I can't remember the last team right now. I did the Lakers. That's right, because I think that the sale to Mark Walter, who is known to pay out of his pants for everything, might give them the incentive to make a trade and not care about money because Mark Walter is going to pony up. It's funny because Vucevic, I agree with you that he's soft, and we're all ready for a new center in Chicago. But that being said, he does have like appeal to a contender that wants like a good center, but doesn't have the money to go crazy. So a team like the Lakers or a team like the Warriors or the Suns, because they're in cap hell now. I seen one that had us trading away Lonzo and Vucevic that were both going to end up on the Suns, but we would end up with Jalen Green and a first round pick. And I'm saying, sign me the fuck up.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean,
serious?
I know that gives us questions about Kobe. That's a different Jalen Green and a first round pick for Vucevic and Lonzo and no picks. That's highway robbery, dude. Like I'm putting points in AK's corner if he could pull that crap off. But yeah, it's just funny that Vucevic is like the center of all these conversations, and we're just dying to be rid of him. So
it is funny when you think about it that way, yeah. But
yeah.
Jalen Green is such an Artūras Karnišovas draft target, by the way. My goodness. I mean, when has his draft stock been lower than after that horrendous playoff performance he just put up this year? He was bad. Really bad. And listen, don't get me wrong, he had a really good season. He's a good scorer, but my goodness, this is everything Acme's all about, man. They love getting guys when their trade values at the lowest possible, just scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to find a diamond in the rough, man.
Depends on what we have to give up. I do agree with you, but if we're only giving up that, then I'm willing to take the gamble. Yeah. But yeah, I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it just feels like everything I keep hearing the Bulls are being linked to, it's all guys who I'm like, does that really make your team a threat? Does Jalen Green turn the Bulls into a threat compared to what they had last year? Does Jonathan Kuminga turn your team into a threat?
I like his potential a lot more than I like Jalen Green's personally. I think Kuminga, because I think he could be a really solid, like a great defender. Mm-hmm. So I like him more, but I think more than anything, I'm ready for the Bulls to get a big. I really hope that John Collins and Julius Randle both decline their player options, because those are two players that I think I'd like to be interested in. They're not going to be max contract players, and they shoot the three. They do everything, and they also play a little defense. And I like Randall a lot, man. He's a playmaker. I don't know about
you don't think Randall's going to get a max contract?
Davey?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, I can. You were out for a second there. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, cool. We can cut that right out. It's no big deal. You don't think Julius Randle is a max player?
He hasn't been. I think that he certainly. I wouldn't be upset about it, but he's been playing at he played for $31 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that his quality is that of near a max player. Maybe he opts out because he's going to get that. I think he's really good though. He's an all around player. Not much of a defender, but he's like a better version of Vucevic, actually.
Yeah. No, I really like the combination of him and Josh Giddey. I think those two would actually be a really good pairing together. Randall can create his own shot, but he can also get open. Giddey, he wants the ball in his hand, but he's there to facilitate and play make. I think a pick and roll, pick and pop game with those two would be a really fun sequence for the Bulls. I think that could be a very dynamic duo and running stuff like that. And, you mentioned wanting a big, and we talk about Julius Randle or John Collins, but they keep getting linked to bigs in the draft, and they keep getting linked to trades in the draft. There's a lot of options there. I mean, gut feeling right now, man. If you had to guess today, June 18th, as we record this, do you think the Bulls are going to pick a 12? Or are they going to move up? They're going to move back? Where do you think we're going to see the Bulls take their first player off the board?
If I had to go gut feeling, I think my gut says 12. I would be okay with moving up. I mean, obviously, it depends on the price, but I think that there's enough quality bigs in the draft where they can stay at 12 and get somebody that will be a contributor. It's a matter to me of how much they value fit. I see a lot of Derek Queen, but I haven't heard a lot on the Bulls front about Derek Queen. I don't think he necessarily fits with Josh Giddey. He's kind of a slower, half-court style type of player. He's like a Zach Randolph, whereas I think that we should be looking for more of a guy that's going to get out on the run. And I would love to get Kaman Maluach, man, from Duke. I'd love it, but we'll have to move up. I've seen mocks where he's lower than 12, and I just can't see it in my brain. I can't see him falling that low. But I think if I had to put my money on a guy, I think I'm going to go with Thomas Sorber from Georgetown. 6'9", but he's got a 7'5" wingspan. So, yeah, he's quite long. He's long and he's strong, and he's down to get the friction on. So,
it's getting hot in here.
Damn. Yeah. It's Sorber season in this baby, but I like him. He seems like a really solid all around player. I have some other favorites too, but I think they would have to be guys that we would have to trade back for. I have some draft darlings that are late first rounders. So,
I love a good draft darling. No, we'll talk about them later on. But again, you can see all the information about these guys coming up soon on Just Under Your Chicago Bulls. Don't forget to give a follow there. So Bulls offseason starting very soon as the NBA Finals wraps up. The Bears offseason is in full swing right now. OT, we're getting ready for the real. We got through mandatory camp. Now we're going to be looking toward the last bit of camp and preseason, and then the season's right around the corner. We're a couple months away. Now, the big story right now, I would say, is Luther Burden, who has yet to practice with the team. He's been dealing with an injury so far. Are you worried about Luther Burden, Phil?
Long term, no. Short term, yes. I worry about his ability to make an impact this year because Ben Johnson's not going to Ben Johnson doesn't take any shit, and he's not going to let someone cut corners. This guy's going to have to earn it. And so every time and Ben Johnson was very dead honest about this in his press conference, which I appreciate. You don't have to guess when it comes to Big Dong Ben Johnson. He's going to let you know with that big trouser snake in his jeans. He's going to let you know, hey man, this is the deal. And he told everybody, if you're in the training room and you're not on the practice field, that's an L, man. That's an L. You're not out there. You're not learning the playbook. You're not gaining your teammates' trust. And when Ben Johnson says that to the media, I believe him. So I think in the short term it's rough, but long term, he's Luther fucking Burden, dude. He's going to ball out. He's going to be fine. I just don't know if it's going to be as soon as we all would have liked.
No, I'm totally with you, and it is worrisome for sure. That I mean, no camp is really rough for any rookie. It doesn't matter if you're first round pick, seventh round pick, undrafted off the streets. You got signed from the Canadian Football League. You got brought over from the German Football League. Wherever you are, you got to be in your first camp. So yeah, he's missing a ton of valuable time. As you mentioned, I really like how Ben Johnson's very, very honest. He does not mince words. I mean, even when he talks about evaluating players, he is very much like, yep, we got to work on some things. These are the things we got to work on. We're going to start getting after them, which I really, really appreciate as a fan. There's not, there is still some coach talk, but a lot of times he just gives you a direct answer and you go, oh, I haven't heard that in a long time. Wow. But the injury to Burden is definitely worrisome. If it's something that's kept him out this long, it's got to be something that is either really small and very nagging, which makes me wonder about long-term if it's going to continue to nag, or it's something bigger than we thought it was going to be. And so either way, it's not a good look for a rookie. And speaking of not good looks for rookies, Burden as well as Shamar Stewart and Ozzy Trapillo, all three of these guys, all the second round picks have yet to be signed by the team. Another cause for concern in a lot of people's eyes. But at this point in time, nobody has to sign. We still see that a lot of players, especially in that range, have yet to sign. Are you worried about the second round picks not signing, or do you think it might be a reason why, or kind of what are your thoughts on that?
Real quick, just for our listeners, Shamar Turner.
Oh, yep.
Totally understandable because Shamar Stewart's also over there holding out. So totally understandable what he's got going on over there in Bengals land. But I'm also very happy that we have Shamar Turner instead of Shamar Stewart personally. But I'm not too worried about. I am and I'm not, like, especially Ozzy. Like I need him to be under contract. Like for Shamar Turner and Shamar Turner and for Luther Burden, I feel like their roles are going to be very much supportive, but I feel like Ozzy's got a really good chance at being the starting left tackle. So because of his role being so important, like, dude, get this guy under contract. The last thing that we need is for him to be holding out and missing a single rep. Like, we don't need that at all. So I'm somewhat worried. I'm not in full-blown panic mode, though. Not yet.
No, that's fair. I think it's a really good spot to be at. I kind of in the same boat. I don't really look too much into it. Last year, Caleb and Rome signed super late. They were two of the very last first-round picks to sign their contracts. I think Ryan Poles just kind of has his way of doing things. He's like, listen, you're on the team. We're getting you the work right now. We're worrying about this. Let your agent talk with us about exactly what you want from your contract. We'll negotiate and whatnot. But I don't think that he works as quickly as some people. Because I don't think he has to. I think there's a lot of times where he does things on his own time. He always has. The Kyler Gordon extension came early, but some other guys, they wait until the very last minute to re-sign or whatever it might be. Ryan Poles' first day of free agency, he's getting one of the first free agents every single year. He has his own mysterious ways that he works in that we wouldn't understand as not being in the room with him discussing as a front office. But I do think it is worrisome. I think you got to get your guys signed. I think that if you got a guy like Ozzy Trapillo who's really showing up well in camp right now,
yeah,
dude. I don't understand. You got to make it known to these guys. To me, you have to make it known that you're there for them, you care for them, you're going to do what it takes for them. If they're asking for some language in a contract that is over the course of 4 years, at the very worst going to cost your organization a couple $1 million, but in the long run could be the benefit of them taking a hometown discount on a second contract, man, will you put the fucking language in the contract? Can you stop playing games with that? Just sign the guys. It doesn't make sense to me. Give them what they want. Whatever the max value of the contract is, just do it. I can't understand why you would want to nickel and dime a guy you just put very high draft stock into. Whatever they're waiting on, man. Ryan Poles, get the language done. Just do the deals, man.
Yeah, in the words of Dave Bautista, give them what they want.
Wow, what a throwback. I totally forgot about that. And in my head, I'm doing the... I got the pyro behind me, right behind me, man.
That's my favorite thing, actually. I don't know if for any WWE fans that are listening, that when the fan hijacked Raw and he jumped in front of the camera and did the Dave Bautista thing. That was hilarious, actually. The kid's an MVP. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%, man. Get these guys signed. Let's get them on the practice field taken care of, and with them knowing that the Bears have their back.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, and where I'm at with the Bears in general is kind of ready for the season to start. The off season, all the fun stuff's done, so we got a little lull period, but worry not. Phil, I know you're not the biggest hockey fan, but I'm going to get you involved with a little Blackhawks talk right now. For the first time, you're going to see Phil. I mean, we're going to have an engaging conversation about the Blackhawks because we're not really talking about specifically the Blackhawks. We're talking about this situation as a sports situation as a whole and talking about the NHL draft, which is coming up very, very soon. It's end of this month here. So Stanley Cup Finals just ended yesterday. The Florida Panthers went back-to-back, got their second victory in a row, and their second Cup final ever. Here's where the Blackhawks stand, Phil, right now. So we've talked a little bit about their new head coach, who I do not care for. We've talked a little bit about some moves that, they just re-signed one of their best players from last year today to an extension. Good move, bringing back a guy who has done well. So right now the Blackhawks are mired in this very long rebuild. They have Connor Bedard, who's entering the last year of his rookie contract, which means it's the last year you're going to be able to pay him very, very cheap. They have begun to make strides of bringing up some of their young players. They have a kid named Frank Nazar who came up and was very impressive as a second-line forward last year. All of their young defensemen are hitting the NHL team. Their number 2 overall pick from last year, Artem Levshinov, is ready to take his rightful spot on the team. They have a couple other young guys. They got their goalie of the future. They got a lot of pieces, but they still have a ton of pieces they have to fill in. The third pick of the draft is theirs this year. They're picking number 3. And there's a lot of talk about who they might go after. But there's a lot of talk about whether or not they want to trade this draft pick. Because they do need NHL talent and they need to get him there quick. So my question to you, Phil, not specifically a hockey question, a sports question in general. You have the number 3 pick of the draft. You have a few holes to fill. You could take a guy knowing he's not going to play in your NHL roster for a couple of years, but maybe he has pretty high potential. Or you could take that pick and trade it for a contributor who can become a player for your team this year, but maybe doesn't have the same ceiling or might be a little bit older. Where do you go, man? Are you a fan of stocking for the future still, or do you say, hey, we got these guys coming up, we got to start making improvements right now, right this very second?
With where the Blackhawks are at and with how long we've had Bedard and considering that he's going to be coming up on a contract, I assume pretty soon, I'm going to win. I'm going to take the talent now. I'm going to try and get this team back on the right track sooner rather than later so that, Connor Bedard and everybody, you want these young guys to also feel like you're trying to win. Like if they feel like you're always giving them prospects that are like, yeah, but he's going to be good down the road. At some point, you're like, okay, but I'm living in the here right now, and this shit sucks. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat, and it really depends on what is available. I think really to me this year there are 2 very specific draft prospects who one of them's a defenseman. I don't want the Blackhawks to get him. He's gonna be the number 1 pick of the draft. His name is Matthew Schaefer. He is the kind of bona fide number 1 pick. Then there's one specific forward that I really, really like, and most people think he's going to get drafted second. There's always a possibility to go somewhere else, but then there's it goes 1 and then drop off to 2 and then drop off to like 3 through 8. There's a bunch of guys in that kind of bubble right there you can go after. To me, if you can move up to 2 and get that guy, or if he somehow falls, I think it's a really good decision to take that player. His name is Michael Misa. If not, there's a lot of maybes and kindas and we hopes. And to me, I wouldn't want to take those risks. I'd rather get an NHL level talent as well. So to me, I think that trading the pick is probably going to be in play. I think that they don't draft at 3 if I had to guess, whether that be at 2 or moving out of the first round completely. I'm interested to see, but this could be the move that is a catalyst that kind of finally brings you back. I mean, it's been a long time, and I watched a lot of hockey this year, man. I miss good hockey in Chicago, and we got to get you involved, man. If the team sucks, how are you gonna jump on board to a shitty team?
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I mean, my time in the Army comes to an end in February, and at that time, I'm going to be getting back on board with many of my sports teams because I will be contributing much more time to my content creation career. If I work, it'll be remote. So I'm going to be consuming as many sports as possible. So yes, I would like the Blackhawks to be better. Because yeah, man, I don't want to jump back on board with some shitty bottom of the barrel team. I've been dealing with that with the Bulls and the Bears for the last few years. So please don't contribute more to my misery. That'd be nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't even pressure you to be a fan of the Blackhawks at this time. It's not fun. It is not fun. But
Fair.
one thing about Professionally Profane is that we are always fun, and we always have two segments we like to close our shows up with. And this week, we're both going to have Jabronis of the Week. Phil, I know that we both have guys, and I don't think it matters the order. So if you're cool with it, man, go ahead and jump right in, my friend, and give us who your Jabroni of the Week is.
All right, my jabronis of the week. And I think there's going to be a common thread here between me and Dave. And so mine is going to be fans that don't get excited for the start of the season. Fans that are like, oh, but last year. Oh, but I got to see it before I believe it. Oh, but this, but that. But, wow, give me a break. Take off your panties, put on some big boy shorts, and get your shit together. Be excited for the season. Come on, guys. What's the point of sports if you don't have hope? If you just ride the gloom and doom bandwagon all the way until we're really good and then you get excited, you did it wrong. You cheated almost. Like you copped out all the way until you knew for sure we were good and then you got excited. I just don't believe in that. I feel like sports is about the highs and the lows together. And there's nothing is more exciting than the start of a season when everything's on the table, the record is wiped clean. And you know what? If you lose in week one, you can go right back to being pessimistic. But when it comes to warming up, and I'm talking to you, Bears fans, we're coming into training camp season, and then we're going to go into the preseason. Dude, we should be at a fever pitch for Bears football in September because this is an exciting team. We have fucking Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. Like, I'm going to be pumped, and I'm ready to have the biggest crash out of all time if we're not good. But that's my jabronis of the week, are the fans that are always pessimistic about everything until they have to see W's. Like, come on, guys. Get your shit together.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you're spot on. Ours are very tied together this week because my jabronis of the week are also specific fans. And mine are the fans who, you know what, man? I'm just going to say what they are, man. They're gigantic pussies. And I'm talking about the fans that refused. Oh, my God. I'm talking about the fans who refuse to make points in the guise of, I'm just asking a question. That shit is so weak, man. I'm so tired of people asking very clearly targeted questions in order to specifically talk about certain athletes or teams or coaches. And then once you push back on their clear intentions on what they mean, they, oh no, I didn't. I was just asking a question, man. Stop just asking questions, okay? If you've got a point, say it with your whole chest. Stop asking a question. Well, so Caleb Williams, what was good last year? I'm just asking you. You made a comment about, his deep ball and you must thought it was good. No. If you have a point, make your point. Say it. Be an adult. Use your word. Communicate. But asking questions and then when pressed on the question, saying, "Oh, I don't have a point. I'm just asking a question." That shit's lame, man. Stop asking questions unless you have a plan to defend the opposite point of that question that you're clearly looking for the answer for. If the answer from the other person's clear and you're asking the question, then you, by design, have to then argue your points back. Otherwise, you're not asking a question. You're just being a floppy vagina.
A floppy fucking vagina. There's nothing worse. Nothing worse.
There's nothing worse. No. Absolutely not.
Nothing worse other than fans of tanking. They're worse than flopping vaginas.
Oh, for sure. Fans of tanking are the worst. But it's actually another good segue. Look at our segues today, man. They were just phenomenal because we're talking. We're talking about the opposite now. We're talking, that's as boring as could be, a tanking team where you're not even trying to win sports games. But today we're doing our power rankings. We do a ranking every week. And this week we are going to be counting down the top 5 most exciting players in Chicago sports history. And yes, this is because of Pete Crow Armstrong, who has been one of the most exciting players we have ever seen this half season, an MVP candidate.
True.
If you go to Just Another Year Chicago Cubs, you'll see why I think he is the not only MVP candidate, but the MVP front runner. Yeah, number 1 right now. And it's a runaway, I think. But I think PCA, I mean, it's been so exciting to watch him play. I know you're not a Cubs fan, Phil, but his excitement is palpable, and I'm sure you can kind of feel it even on the other side of town, despite him not being on your team.
I do. And you know what? Thanks to Davey's very, very well researched analysis on Just Another Year Chicago Cubs, I've learned that PCA is not only making timely hits and winning games in dramatic fashion, but is also catching everything. He has more 5-star catches than anybody else in the NL. Not only that, he has more of them than anybody else in the NL, and he's catching them at a higher percentage than anyone in the NL. So, yeah, man. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that, yeah, PCA is really, really good.
Well, we've had a lot of really good athletes here in Chicago, and this list is just for excitement. There have been some really, really, really good athletes in Chicago that we're not going to mention because they just went out there and did their thing. I know, for example, I'll tell you right now, I don't have Michael Jordan on my list. Yes, he was an exciting player, but when I talk about just sheer excitement, you have to have the game on at all times to see them make plays that only they could make. Not just going out there and hitting every single fadeaway jumper because he's the greatest fucking basketball player of all time. We're talking about pure excitement, and you could have MJ on your list. I just mentioned why I don't. But I would like to, hand over to you for your number 5 spot here, for your 5th most exciting athlete in Chicago history.
All right, I'm going to answer with somebody he's a recent player. I believe that, he showed in week 1 when we acquired him why he was so exciting. And ever since I enjoyed the full ride with him. I wish we got to have more years with him, but I'm going with Khalil Mack as my number 5 pick. Just watching him rush the passer was something to behold, man. The guy is a mix of speed and power that's incredibly rare in the NFL, and I felt like I was enthralled with every down that he was rushing the passer. So I got to go with him at my number 5. Out of all the pass rushers I've seen in a Bears uniform, I think he's the most exciting, and I guess it's reflected in my rankings. So
yeah, absolutely. No, it's a great choice. I mean, that first week, the first half against Green Bay, I mean, that's the greatest defensive performance I've ever seen, if it was just for a half. The second half was not as good. But those first 30 minutes,
damn game.
Dude, I can't believe that. I still can't believe it to this day. But those first 30 minutes were absolutely incredible. I mean, just the multiple sacks, forced fumble, the pick 6. I mean, just one of the greatest performances I've ever seen. I'm staying with the Bears for my number 5, and this is going to be a shocking one. People know I don't like this guy, but I don't like him because of the intangibles, because of the mental aspect of the game. There's no doubt about it. This is one of the most exciting football players we've ever seen in the city of Chicago. I only have one Bear ahead of him. My number 5 is be Justin Fields, man. And when a guy like that, I know. When a guy like him touches the ball every single play, listen, the greatest TikTok quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life. If you don't watch a football game, you don't know what you're looking for, you're going to look at him and say, wow, he's the greatest quarterback to ever exist. And that's how I know that a lot of these awful Bears fans do not watch the games and do not know what they're looking for, because they just get all their highlights and box score stuff. So they see the cool highlights, but the highlights were fucking cool, man. I mean, some of those performances were just incredible. If only he could throw a football better. If only he could read a defense. My goodness.
When you say they were just incredible, was that a pun?
You know what?
Incredible.
Ask me. I'm gonna say yes. It wasn't, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna say it was. Genius by me.
Yeah, unbelievable. What a call by Dave. I'll go ahead with my number 4 here. My number 4 is another Bear. I mean, shocker. This list is going to be populated with Bears on my end, and I'm going to go with Johnny Knox. I'm going to go with Johnny Knox, because dude, this guy was he was electric, man. Like when he was on the field for the short time that he got to be on it, like no matter if he was returning a kick or if he was catching a pass, like Jay Cutler and him were building something special. I feel like Johnny Knox would have had an incredible Chicago Bears career if his career wasn't prematurely ended in that horrific injury. But he really he had something different, man. He was just like he was a dude. His size wasn't supposed to lend itself to being as good as he was, but because of his size is why he was so exciting. Like you never knew he could take it to the house on every play. So I'm going with Johnny Knox at number 4.
Wow, I did not expect to hear Johnny Knox on this list. I will be very honest about that, but I do not hate the pick. I really like it. Good for that, man. Yeah, he did. He had his own ass cheeks as a pillow for a second. I mean, that was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. I can't believe he survived it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Right in July.
My number 4. I went back and forth between a couple of guys, you know what, and they're both Cubs, and the comparisons are out in full force. I thought about it for the entire show. Do I go with Javi Baez or do I go with Pete Crow Armstrong? And I think I'm going to go with Pete Crow Armstrong here. Listen, I think
right
Javi Baez made a lot of really good plays, but when you look back on the defensive metrics and what he was doing, a lot of the cool plays were cool because he made them cool. He made them cooler than they needed to be. There's a lot of plays where he gets a really slow jump and has to make an incredible play to make up for it, when a player that's a better fielder like Dansby Swanson, for example, would just get to the ball, make the easy play, but you wouldn't be wowed. And Pete Crow Armstrong does that all the time. He makes plays that are so difficult, but they look so easy. He's going to put up, and he's on track for 30 plus home runs, 45, 50 steals. I mean, he is doing things we've never seen, and he's only 23 years old. He's going to have this ability to be one of the most electric players in baseball for quite a long time. He's showing that unlike some of these other guys who are a lot of electricity, a lot of pizzazz, like, O'Neal Cruz is a really good example in Pittsburgh. He's a guy who has every single trait possible. He's a 6'7" shortstop who has the best arm in baseball, hits the ball harder than anybody, runs faster than anybody. He's batting .230, man. I mean, he just can't put it together on the field. His highlights are great, but PCA does it all, man. So I'm going to put him in my 4 spot and give you the floor for number 3.
6'7" shortstop.
Yes,
you taught me something today. That's incredible. That's unfucking believable. Okay. I'm gonna have to look this dude up. But anyways, so for number 3, I'm going off the beaten track. I'm cheating. I'm going with my man CM Punk, Chick Magnet Punk, Chicago made Punk. I mean, the core record say is Chick Magnet Punk, but CM Punk. Listen, honestly, I probably should have put him number 1. I'm probably doing you a disservice, CM Punk. I'm sorry, but to this day, he's still making magic happen for Chicago, or for Chicagoans and for wrestling fans. If you didn't see his promo against John Cena on last Friday night SmackDown, holy shit, he absolutely roasted this dude. I love you, CM Punk. You have personally been the muse for my greatest event that I've ever been to, and it's when you walked out with the title on Money in the Bank 2011. It blows away all the WrestleManias I've been to. It's the most exciting thing I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes in my life. And I love you. I'm just going to say it. I love you.
Wow.
and that's, yeah, I've gone off the rails here. CM Punk is my number 3. I'm going to stop.
Wow. You know what? I love him too. Absolutely. CM Punk, come on the pod.
Come on, please.
Come on the pod. No other podcast is going to express their love for you before you even step on the show, man. I mean, come on. Throw us a bone.
I promise we won't mark out before you get on the show or while you're on the show, just after it's all over.
Oh, we're making promises.
Just me.
Okay.
Just me. I'll promise.
No, I promise too, if you come on. My number 3, I stayed away from wrestling. I should have thought of CM Punk, but that was a good decision. My number 3 is going to be Patrick Kane. Kane, man, I mean, not only is he a 3-time Cup champion, not only is he a Hart Trophy Winners League MVP, not only is he a Conn Smythe winner as playoff MVP, this guy was, I mean, we've never seen a hockey player in Chicago that was at the level Patrick Kane was. This was a guy who, whenever he touched the puck, he completely changed the entire dynamic of the hockey rink. I mean, when he got the puck, man, everybody had to stop what they were doing so they could watch him. That includes the players on the ice, because he would do things that nobody else could do. He would send passes to places no other player would try to send passes to. He would snipe shots top corner when there's no room, knock the water bottle off. His shootout moves were incredible. If you need to watch it, man, that I would say 2013 to 2017 Patrick Kane is one of the greatest athletes Chicago has ever been graced with. And also during that time, he was just beyond electric. Made hockey fans out of everybody who watched him during those times. So I'm putting him in my number 3 spot.
Love it, man. I mean, speaking of someone that was, casually watching that all unfold, I agree with you that, like, I knew, like, when Patrick Kane had the puck, watch out. And, like, I actually remember I was standing when he hit the game-winning, the series-winning goal when the Blackhawks won their first Stanley Cup, if I'm not mistaken, in his era. I think he hit that game-winning goal in overtime. I was standing in a specific Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll never forget it. And it was electric, and the dude is a legend. Totally love that pick. For my pick, number 2, I can go into a huge soliloquy about this man, and I don't think I will, because I think that his name speaks for itself. It's Derek fucking Rose.
Yeah.
His name is actually Derek Rose. It's not Derek fucking Rose, but I wouldn't be upset if he actually changed his name to that. It makes sense. But Derek Rose, man, I mean, what more can you say? He's the youngest MVP in NBA history. Get up or get out the way. Goran Dragic, eat shit. Goran Dragic to this day has nightmares of Derek Rose. Derek Rose owns that, man, as much as Josh Giddey owns LeBron James. But there we go with that segue. But,
at least Goran Dragic isn't a crybaby, and LeBron is.
That's true. Goran Dragic takes his shit like a man. LeBron James. Yeah. Oh shit, my bad. Look, Derek Rose provided the city of Chicago with memories they'll never forget, and he is a legend. It's a shame the way his career ended, but not only do we have all the highlights, but we also still have, and it didn't result in a series win, but that game-winning shot in Game 3 against the Cavaliers in his comeback was one of the greatest moments I've ever felt as a Chicago sports fan. It didn't end up working out, but I felt at that moment like that was the greatest comeback moment I've ever seen in my life, because he had come back from two ACL injuries by that point. Maybe it was 2 seasons, whatever. Hit that shot. Incredible. Derek Rose, you're the man.
Dude, I love that. I am going to go with my number 2, man, and I think that I think everyone would agree that I don't want to give anything away, but I'm pretty sure we might have the same top 2, just flip flop, because I got Devin Hester, the Windy City Flyer, in my number 2 spot, man. I mean, listen, another guy. You said it, man. You don't have to say anything about Devin Hester, the greatest return man of all time, greatest pure special teams guy of all time, a guy who every time he touched the ball, you had to watch what he was going to do. The opening kickoff of the Super Bowl, NFL records. I mean, he was the definition of electric. He had game-breaking speed, not only on the field, but in the video games, where you had to have Madden break their rating system to properly give him the speed necessary to make him the level he was in the game. We've never seen that before. It's not in Madden anyways. We've seen it one time in another sport with Steph Curry in 2K. But if you're so good, you're so fast that you're also breaking a game in the same way that unanimous MVP Steph Curry was, that speaks for itself. I mean, just a guy who every time he touched the ball, it was a chance for an incredible game-changing play. So I'm putting my number 2 spot. And I think I gave away who my number 1 is, but we'll hear who your number 1 is right now.
I mean, well, it's a good segue right into my number 1, who is Devin Hester.
Yeah. I knew that was. I knew it.
Yeah, Devin Hester, man. I mean, what more can I say in terms of what Davey said? I mean, I remember where I was when he returned that kick in the Super Bowl. I was at a Super Bowl party. I was a freshman in high school, or I was an eighth grader. I can't remember, one of the two. It was right there in that time period, and we went fucking nuts. We thought that shit was incredible. We couldn't believe they kicked to him. Devin Hester was one of those guys. He's the only kick returner in my life where you're like, every time there's a punt or a kick scenario, you're like, Devin Hester's going to get the ball. Devin Hester's going to get. Is he going to get the ball? Are they going to kick away from him? Like, you don't talk about people like that. He's a Hall of Famer for returning kicks. I mean, and he got his dreads in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and he should have been first ballot.
That's a fact. The Hall failed him on that. But, yep. I mean, Devin Hester is absolutely incredible. He was so good at returning kicks that the Bears convinced themselves that he was going to be a number one receiver.
Hey, he was. He was a good receiver.
He was a good receiver. Would have been better as a 2 or a 3, but and you know, actually, I think it's a shame. I think it's a shame that we didn't surround that team with more talent, because I think that Hester in his prime as a second or third receiver would have been incredible. Like, if he could have been with Jeffrey and Marshall as the third receiver, man, that shit would have smacked. If they were all in their primes, woo, that would have been electric. But as it was the way it was. And Devin Hester, you are ridiculous, to borrow a phrase from my man Jeff Joniak. But
yeah, shout out Jeff Joniak. Come on the pod. My number one, I gave it away, man. Derrick Rose. You know, I think the thing that separates to me Rose and Hester was just how good Derrick Rose was. Just because of the fact that, you know, listen, man, Hester, they both made plays that just boggled your mind every night. You know, guys shouldn't be able to play the way those two guys played. They were game-breaking talents, athleticism off the charts. You know, Derrick Rose just also had the ability to do more just because of how basketball works, right? One game a week in football, and you get about 5 opportunities to get a ball kicked to you. And even when they do that, they're going to kick 3 nowhere near you to avoid you. Whereas Derrick Rose touches the ball on every possession in all 82 NBA games as long as he's on the floor. So it is a bit of that, but also when you think about the fact that his play was so electric, but also so good that you win an MVP because of it, that's what separates it to me.
The youngest MVP of all time.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert right now. Future Basketball Hall of Famer. People act like he's going to be the first MVP to not make the Hall of Fame. I tell you that's not going to be the case. He's going to the Hall of Fame. If Yao Ming made the Hall of Fame, Derrick Rose is making the fucking Hall of Fame. What are we talking about here?
Yes. It's the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, and this man is a national champion, by the way. So fucking put some respect on his name.
Yeah, I mean there are multiple.
No. He lost the national championship, didn't he? Fucking Mario. I'm sorry Chalmers. For a moment. I forgot that Mario Chalmers is a dickhead, and he not only as I think what was it, Kansas that he played for, but also for the Heat. He would also then become a fucking thorn in Derrick Rose's side as a member of the Miami Heat. Fuck you, Mario Chalmers. You don't get to come on the pod.
Yeah, no, Mario Chalmers is never coming on the pod. Are you kidding me?
If he texted us, he would come on the pod.
Yo, yeah, if you want to come on the pod, you definitely can, man. We'd be happy to have you. Here you go. I'll give you one right now. If you think that, listen, I mean, here's another really, really good player, but he played longer than Rose, but he was never an MVP. If Tracy McGrady's a no doubt Hall of Famer, how is Derrick Rose not a Hall of Famer?
It's a great point. Although, I will say that T-Mac had better shoes than Derrick Rose could ever have.
But Derrick Rose had the better logo for his shoes. That's definitely the case.
Fair. That's fair. I just loved the T-Mac 2s or 3s. I can't remember which ones they were, but I rocked the shit out of those when I was a middle schooler.
No, they were nice. No, Derrick Rose did not have good shoes, but Derrick Rose didn't have to have good shoes. He was too busy being a good basketball player.
You're right. People like to hate on Derrick. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, man. I was just going to say that people love to hate on Derrick Rose because he won that MVP despite his statistics not being pristine. But, like, MVP is not always about stats, man. It's about the impact you have on your team. It's about sometimes it's the eye test, and everybody who watched that season knew that Derrick Rose was the most valuable player of that season. So,
dude, he was like a final boss that year. Every great point guard went to Chicago to put up their worst games of the season because Rose was dropping 35 on guys like Russell Westbrook and guys like Steve Nash, meanwhile getting held in check because Rose was also a good defender. The people that think LeBron was the MVP that year did not watch the games that year. Derrick Rose was the MVP. You can never take that away from him. He absolutely deserved that award that year. There's no doubt in my mind. And as mentioned, he's going to deserve his Hall of Fame induction one day.
Bang.
Bang.
Enough said.
Phil, tell the people where they can find you and all your wonderful content, my friend. You've been pushing out a ton recently, and it deserves to be seen by the people.
I appreciate that, man. My content can be seen at JAY_Bulls. I'm pushing out content every day for Just Another Year Chicago Bulls. If you're a Bulls fan that wants to stay up on the news and wants to stay up on any rumors or if you want my opinions on anything Bulls, of course, they're going to be PG opinions, even though I have to hold myself back a lot. And also I do a fantasy GM series called Rebuild where I mess around with the ESPN trade machine and I put my fantasy GM hat on and I talk about potential scenarios that the Bulls could do under the salary cap. If you're into that sort of thing, the people seem to like it, so I would encourage you to check it out. Otherwise, you can definitely check out the stuff I do with Davey on 2 platforms now, at Profane Pod for Chicago sports stuff, or at P Wrestling on X, or _Pro Wrestling on YouTube. That's where you can find me and Davey doing our pro wrestling content these days. Also, I'm on at JAYC Phil, just being a dumbass. So.
But in a good way.
In a good way. I'm hilarious. Yeah, if you guys are watching this shit, you guys know.
Yeah, dude. You can find me at Davey.17 on Twitter /X. Just like Phil's doing all the Just Another Year Chicago Bulls stuff, I'm now doing all the Just Another Year Chicago Cubs stuff. So give a follow. JAY Chicago Cubs. On Twitter, it is at JShy_Cubs. And then at Profane Pod. Sorry, Phil, go ahead.
I was saying do it.
Yeah,
follow. Do it.
Do it right now.
Do it.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode for PCVIV, Mr. Phil.
Hold on, Dave. I want to interrupt you guys. Definitely go check out Dave on Just Another Year Chicago Cubs. Like, I'm going to interrupt him and say do that because I'm still learning the ropes of the style that we do at Just Another Year Chicago Bulls, but Dave is a natural. You should go check him out at Just Another Year Chicago Cubs. If you are a Cubs fan, I implore you to check him out. He's kicking ass. You're going to want to check it out. So
thank you, man. I appreciate it. And I'd love to see everyone get over there and talk a little Cubs, man. We got a lot of good stuff coming up soon, a lot of stuff with the trade deadline and all that. And as Phil's talking about the draft and potential trades and free agent for the basketball season, I'm going to be talking about the in-season stuff, and then we'll be flip-flopping and going back and forth. So don't forget to give us both a follow there and all the Just Another Year pages as we are, as they all grow, we all grow together. So anything Just Another Year, we got Bears, White Sox, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and pro wrestling now. So give us a follow all there. For Phil, I'm going to now this time for sure actually bring us home.
Sorry.
Thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you all on the next one.